We see the log file. It says we failed. Oh my god, are you serious? Alright, I've got streaming and end broadcast ready to go, so I hope we're live. How are we going on the YouTube channel there? Anybody can hear us? How about you, Ali? Can you see us on the YouTube channel? Oh, I heard myself there. Can somebody give us a hoy if they can hear us? We are testing OBS and we should be streaming out live from OBS, and I have the camera on. Hi folks. Alright, we have a chat message. Okay, Ali, you can turn off YouTube now and let me introduce everybody to Ali Cattail. She's only on audio right now. We had some technical difficulties, hence a few minutes late. Are you there, Ali? Oh, hang on. I'm going to have to switch screens to get your audio on the screen. Wait a second. Go over here. Okay. So, yes, Ali doesn't have her camera on right now. We have some technical difficulties, but this black screen is Ali. Say hi, Ali.
Hi. This is my evening attire.
In the dark attire.
Right. Very mysterious.
Very mysterious. So, Ali, you can see the screen using your phone right now without the volume on YouTube. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Phew. Well, at least you can see something. So, yeah, sorry for being late, guys. Sorry, I'm new to OBS and this is our first OBS stream. So, yeah, at least you don't have the echo. Nobody's on acid today. So that's a start.
Well, you don't know that, really.
Well, I hope not. Please do type in the chat if we've got echo. That would be terrible if there was echo. Echo. We certainly do not need echo.
No, I'm saying you don't know if anyone's on acid, right?
Oh.
Up to them.
Sure. Point taken. Had no... I was totally in a different dimension. Alright, so... yeah, if there's anybody listening, please give us a little feedback on whether we've got any echo, if you can actually hear Ali talking. If you can't hear Ali, then beep. It worked with the recording side.
Talking to no one.
Probably talking to no one. So, since we don't have anyone sort of responding yet, let's jump over to the slides and start working on, the slides to go through one of the cards at a time. So what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to sort of explain how to play the game, and then we're going to step through the cards so everybody's familiar with the cards and, what we're going to read out. So in bingo, you would call a number out. We're going to call a description from the card. And then you have to match the description, just to make it tricky, with the fallacy that it matches. So we're going to step through all 24 of the fallacies. We'll see how much time we have today. We might do half the cards today and half the cards another day, or we might do all 24 today. It just depends how we go for time. So right now we're just going to skip through to the card screen. So let me just slip over there. And
Yes, I think there might be a bit of a delay because I still see my ominous black square, but or rectangle. Here we go. Yep, awesome. Well, this is one of it's a YouTube favorite, I would say. It's a everyday life favorite. This is one that you just see a lot, or hear a lot, where you think you're talking about one thing, but the other person can take you off track with a different topic. And it's is probably one of the most common ones, don't you think? Oh no. Oh no. If anyone in chat has an example or something that we may all have seen, even on YouTube or in media, and you want to give an example or pipe up with any comments or questions, that's kind of why we're doing this. So feel free. Yeah, I do see cinnamon hot, hot, hot in there. Hi, cinnamon. Awesome. Also, you had to go over and above and create all these cool graphics, and I love it. And just we're blending into the background right now, though, guys. We're stealth mode. Oh, here we go. I see some chat. Hi, Platty. Yes, we don't want to distract them, right? Right. It happens. Can you hear Aussie? Can you put a one in chat if you can hear Aussie? Put a two in chat if you can hear Allie. I'm Allie.
Uh, that was a bit of a fail. I didn't even have my microphone in this scene.
Oh,
So we're not having the cameras hooked up to this scene. I didn't have the mic hooked up to this scene, so nobody heard a word I
it was a
said.
silent scene.
It was, yeah.
Silent scene. That's fine.
So just to
We're
repeat,
just testing you guys.
fail, fail, fail. Okay,
Platy wins the game.
no Aussie.
She
Okay,
answered.
Platy wins. Bingo.
Yep.
I don't know. She should be able to
Now we
hear.
got one and two. Thanks,
Okay.
Cinnamon.
Thank you, Cinnamon. Sorry, guys, I didn't add my audio to this scene, so I was sitting here yakking away, and Ali was just sitting there quiet, listening.
Bantering to no one.
We're in action. Crikey, I'm going to go back and chop this video up so that it's just this part.
Well, yeah.
Where we're finally organised-ish. So, let's go. Straw Man! Woohoo! To play the game, I'm just going to just go over that again in case it was all over the shop. To play the bingo game, I am going to give everybody a link to go and join up to the bingo game, okay, the bingo baker game. It doesn't show us who you are, it doesn't show us names or emails. What it shows us is just your card. And so when we are on the play screen, the bingo play screen, which I've created in another screen, another scene, I should say. All the cards will show up on the screen, and then the question, the hint that I'm going to give you. So in bingo, you call out a number. Instead, I'm going to call out a hint. And as you're looking at the straw man card here, you see the name of the fallacy and then the description of the fallacy. So the hints will be the description. And what we need to do to play the game is match the description to the fallacy and then mark it off on your bingo card. So that's how we're going to play the bingo game. So hi Eddie, thanks for joining us. And this is Ali, you're hearing on audio with us today.
Hello.
As I said, the camera thing and the audio thing was a bit of a mess today, so still getting there with that sort of stuff. So that's how we're going to play the bingo game. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to step through the cards, what the cards are, get familiar with the description and what it matches, so that we know when the game's being played, basically how to match them up. So,
And by cards, also you mean these would be like the bingo numbers called out. So each person has their own card. These are just what they're going to match to on their card, correct?
Correct. So a bingo card is, all your boxes with, it'll have straw man or false cause, or it'll have appeal to emotion. It'll have one of those things.
Each one is a fallacy.
Correct. And so there's bingo cards, and then there's the card deck that we're pulling these from. These are actually a card deck that we're pulling the fallacies from. They're called the fallacy card deck. And you can get them from... where are we getting them from again?
School of Thought is where we...
Thank you. School of Thought is the website.
Yep.
You can go order these cards. They're high quality cards if you want to order them. But we're going to give away a free set of these cards for the winner of bingo. So, and we're going to have a few giveaways and stuff that we for different games
and variations.
variations of games, and also exercises, like we're going
Mm-hmm.
to maybe do a weekly task or an exercise, get you to go do something that's
Challenge, scavenger hunt.
correct. And then the winners of those, they can also have some giveaways and things as well. School of Thought Perpetual Platypus, that is exactly correct. What is she called today? Platypus.
Schoolofthought.org.
I'm just calling you Platty, it's too much. Too big a mouthful with my new teeth. So, I guess...
and the reason we're doing this, right, Aussie, let's give a little background. We think
awesome.
some critical thinking is a little more is it's good to practice. It's exercising your brain. That way we can each get better at recognizing these sorts of arguments or positions when we see them, and make better decisions in our life of who to trust or who to vote for or which side to take in an argument, and to form our own arguments better. And the idea is that we should, as adults and in living in this world, you got to practice these things because you do become rusty. So right now we're kind of going over just some basic fallacies. And the idea here is like we're all just starting from zero, really. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you know or not. We're all kind of going to go over what these are, and everybody has an equal opportunity to win because it's all by chance of what's on your bingo card. So the idea is to just get better at flexing these muscles in your brain and practicing this so that you can make better decisions in your life and, see things a little clearer when somebody's maybe making an argument that isn't relevant or substantial in your mind. You're able to understand why.
Right, that's exactly it. And so together we're gonna, learn how to spot manipulation, dodgy logic, propaganda, and persuasion techniques. They're not just used by other YouTubers, they're used by advertisers, politicians, the media, and even our own brains. So
your parents.
Yep. And just as a note, I am far from an expert in any of these topics. So I'm learning along with you
Same
guys.
here.
Same with Ali. And I think
Yep.
I have as a disclosure, I have a distinct disadvantage because I'm Asperger's. And so spotting human behaviours by watching the interaction doesn't necessarily click in my head. So this is good exercise for people on the spectrum, and probably
for everyone, really.
Right. So I'm certainly not
and
claiming.
Platty, the thing is, we're trying to make it fun. You're going to use your brain, but it's like you're playing bingo, and learning can be fun. Practicing this stuff can be fun because it's fun to like challenge yourself and see if you can understand why you believe certain things you do.
I think she's being funny. You're really gonna make me use my brain.
Know, but
prepare.
I think it's a good way to kind of say we're trying to make it fun.
Right. Prepare for me to kick your asses. Okay. So remember, one of those fallacies is also overestimating your ability. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
But she could be just, using a poker face right now, too. She could just be...
No, she's been funny. She's never
Deeping
serious.
us.
There is never a time when Platty is serious. Honest. I've had many, many, many conversations with her, and there is never a time when she's serious. No poker faces from this girl. Okay, so...
Well, there may be others that are watching this later. I know our audience maybe isn't huge right now, but
right.
Who knows?
and thanks for joining us who is in the audience. We were actually a little worried that we weren't going to get anybody in the audience and that we were going to ad lib without an audience. So it does make it a bit more
Which would have
enjoyable.
been fine with me.
It does make it a little more enjoyable when you're actually interacting with people. But it also draws out, the show a little bit longer. So, and we kind of get lost a little bit. So we might only just do 12 today, depending on how much of this banter we get through. Nonetheless, so let's skip through the cards and talk about those, and then get some faces on the screen. So we've already just covered the straw man card, and Ali gave an example of that one. So and it is the most common one on YouTube, isn't it, Ali?
Yeah, and I think in life, probably. I don't know. I guess we can ask everybody what they think once we get through these, but man, it happens a lot, where you thought you were arguing one thing, and then all of a sudden here you are in another topic, and you're 10 minutes later, you're like, shit, we never got back to that one thing.
Right. Well, I think a good example is probably, the Depp versus Heard court trial right now. If you're reading anything that the media and Hollywood is saying about it, there's a lot of straw men. There's the feminine straw man, the feminist straw man, saying that the other team are being misogynists, I guess. There's a lot of those accusations flying around, but this is literally about defamation. Did she defame Johnny Depp? And
right. Focus on that.
Focus on, this is about, is there a claim for defamation? This isn't about feminism. And there's also the other side of the argument saying that the feminists are taking away men's rights. And this court case has nothing to do with taking away anyone's rights. This is quite simply defamation. Did Amber Heard defame Johnny, and was it with malice? Because people in the public eye have a higher bar to reach than just a standard defamation case. So, well, that is the case in Virginia. And I think California's the same. So this can vary from state to state. But this is a matter of law. This is not about feminism or misogynism or whatever words you want to throw around. Those are straw man arguments. They're trying to make the arguments put forward in the case easier to attack by reducing it to a political argument. So let's move on from that one. We ready to move on from that one, Ali?
Sure.
Okay, false cause. Presuming that a real or perceived relationship between things means that one is the cause of the other. Have you got an example on the bottom of the card there, Ali?
Yeah, we can talk about, like, so one example that's kind of a generic example would be like if someone was pointing to a fancy chart of how temperatures have been rising over the past few centuries, but at the same time the numbers of pirates have been decreasing, thus pirates cool the world and global warming is a hoax.
Correct, that's a good example. So another one that I saw was the statistics for oh my god, my mind just went blank on me. I had a great example. I gave some great examples in my ethos cartoons, which I probably haven't published those on my actual channel, but there were a couple of great examples.
Correlation and causation are different, and that's what people talk about when they're describing this a lot, right?
Right.
They can correlate, but one doesn't necessarily cause the other.
Right. So the same numbers might be associated with people dying from being tangled up in their bed sheets, and you can put those statistics, that data right next to people who get heart disease from margarine, they're actually not really related to each other just because the numbers look similar.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what false cause is. So we'll move to the next one. This is called appeal to emotion. Manipulating.
This is really common too.
Absolutely. This is big in the true crime arena. Manipulating an emotional response in place of a valid or compelling argument. So, would you like to pull out some true crime examples of that, Ellie?
Well, give a generic example, and then I think I've got one.
Okay, generic example.
If you got that one.
A generic example in the true crime world is using children to elicit emotion in cases to draw people to your channel. You're only focusing on children because children elicit such a huge emotional response. And it may not necessarily be that that the case is really that that compelling as you're making it. So, you know, sometimes it's a runaway child. You make such a big deal, oh, the kid's murdered, and no, they're just a runaway. So just manipulating the emotional response that we all have, because we all have that for children.
Right. And I would say, like, anything that has to do with someone's past trauma and triggering that into giving money or feeling ashamed or feeling compelled to help when really they need to help themselves first before they should be giving money. You know, they need to work on their own rebuilding before kind of helping others. You know, I think that happens a lot in the true crime community as well.
Right. Absolutely. And I
people appeal to that.
Right. And I think that people are using highly emotionally triggering titles in their videos to draw attention to them. And then you go watch it and it's really just, boring 8-hour live stream. So, so that's a appeal.
But they pull you in.
They pull you in with an emotional title, right? So that's an appeal to emotion. So in the game, you will hear me read out manipulating an emotional response in place of a valid or compelling argument instead of a number, just so that you're following. The fallacy. Yep. Presuming that because a claim has been poorly argued or a fallacy has been made, that it is necessarily wrong.
Right.
So I would say...
Do you have a good one?
Just to sort of elaborate, I would say that, you know, you could use a fallacy to present your argument, which is also a fallacy, so like the fallacy within a fallacy. And you can go, oh my God, you made a fallacy, and so your argument must be wrong. And that...
Right.
That would be a fallacy within a fallacy within a fallacy, if that makes sense.
Right. It's very meta.
It's sorry?
Very meta.
Meta?
Yes, it's a term that means basically fallacy within a fallacy. It's like, so it's a mirror of a mirror of a mirror. It just becomes so like...
Right. And it
convoluted, you know?
Right, and it doesn't mean that the argument is necessarily wrong. And using a fallacy doesn't necessarily mean that your argument is wrong either. It's the context in how you use it. You can use a fallacy but still be right about your argument. So this is more about understanding not using fallacies to present your argument and still being right. Or avoiding.
I have an example, I think.
Yes.
Well, tell me if this is correct.
Okay. I'll have a go.
So not too long ago, there was a YouTuber who claimed that Rosemarie Bly was still alive, and she knew that because I mean, I can't believe everybody wants her to be dead. So she's likely still alive. Who you guys are all saying she's dead. Why would you say she's dead? When really no one was saying she's dead. We just don't know that she is for sure alive.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Right.
using that as saying, "Oh, I can't believe you guys all think she's dead," when really no one really thinks either way. They just don't think she's for sure alive based on this evidence you're presenting. She could be.
And the evidence being presented was, again, sort of a lot of fallacies. Well,
Was hearsay. Yeah.
and hearsay, correct.
Nothing proof.
Right. Someone said they spoke with her. That's hearsay. That's not
She could
really...
be right.
Right.
And it could be true that she did. But based on that is not proof.
Right. If you want to continue arguing it, then you want to start showing some evidence and not just hearsay.
Right.
And that's how you would...
So is that a fallacy?
That is a fallacy. So basically...
Okay, cool.
saying that she's wrong because she made a fallacy doesn't necessarily make her wrong. What makes her wrong is her lack of proof.
Okay.
So,
Right.
that's a perfect example.
And we still don't know.
And we still don't know.
Okay, good. Yay, I win.
You win.
I win one bingo card deck.
And you lose, Platty. Sorry. I don't know why I got tongue-tied there.
Yeah, where you at now, Platty?
Yeah. We're sure beating our asses now. Okay. Pick on Platty Day today. She says she's king at the fallacy. Okay, the slippery slope fallacy.
Have you come up one time and give an example of your fallacies? Then we'll see.
For sure. And we can do that as an exercise, have our audience come up and join us one at a time and give us some examples and make us laugh. That would be funny.
Yep.
Because, I'm quite sick of things being, acidic and nasty and, backstabbing and all that sort of stuff. We need some fun in our lives.
Yeah, there might be some funny examples of, oh, my uncle always uses this one on Thanksgiving when he's talking about XYZ, and that really helps people understand it in that relational context. And I think that can be helpful to gain a better understanding of these.
Platty says, I'm doing the dishes, bishes. You're a poet.
That sounds like a slippery slope.
Okay, so the slippery slope fallacy. Asserting that if we allow A to happen, then Z will consequently happen too, therefore A should not happen. Do you have an example of something like this in mind, Ali? It's okay to say you don't, because I'm sure I can come up with something.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, it's kind of similar to this false cause one in a way, right?
Right. I can think of a really good one. If you let Trump...
Okay, you should go.
If you let Trump become run for presidency again, then he will win, and therefore he shouldn't be allowed to run for presidency. Just to pull one out. Not that I'm trying to stir up any political things, but that seems to be a common one that I hear out there on the interwebs. Go stop Trump from running so he can't win.
Yes. And to me, there's one that is common with technology is always, that's ruining the next generation, when there's always new technology and there's always a new generation,
Right.
So
if you let your children have too much screen time, then they will get addicted. Therefore, you shouldn't let them have any screen time.
Yeah. When really, likely, they might get good at making games or,
Right.
preparing for the next new technology. Who knows?
They might be the next developers of AI or some ingenious thing that
Yeah.
makes housework easier.
Yep.
So, yep. And in both of the examples we just gave, there's stuff in between that could happen that doesn't necessarily mean that, it's going to happen. In the case that I gave with Trump, obviously there's an election that's got to happen, It's not necessarily that he is going to win. There's still an election that has to happen. And in the case that example that Ali gave, as we finished saying, the child could actually become very, very good at programming. So that does take, a lot of screen time.
It's not necessarily going to ruin that generation. Like, they will have you believe that, oh God, there goes the neighborhood. Well, when you think about in history, there's always new technology, and there's always more screen time, radio time, whatever it was.
Right. And if it wasn't for us computer geeks who sit on our computers all the time, you wouldn't have email, for example. Like the dude who wrote email.
Right.
He was
and YouTube, man.
And YouTube. Excuse me.
It's a good thing someone spent some time with screens,
Texting, phone apps, this all takes screen time. So
yep.
There are some good things that come from it, and we're quite happy to use those things. So,
exactly.
Ad hominem. Now, this is a very popular one. Very popular on YouTube, everywhere.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Attacking your opponent's character or personal traits in an attempt to undermine their argument.
And this is probably my pet peeve of one, I would say, personally. My biggest, it just grinds my gears when I hear it, because it's one that sticks out to me. It's one I can usually recognize really quickly because I'm very conscious of trying not to do this.
Right. And I try not to do it too, but we do often fall into those patterns. But just to give an example, like I can give a personal example where, it became...
Well, did we read the card? Sorry, I didn't know.
Sorry, I did read the card.
Oh, my bad. I got so excited. It's my favorite.
Give us an example. Throw an example at us.
Well, like when, to me, okay, so one that stands out to me is when Bullhorn Betty came out, or
Yep.
And everyone went straight to blow. They all went to blowjob Betty. I just thought that's not even clever. It doesn't even. Let's just wait and see what she can do first. It was before anyone even knew her or what she could do or what her mode of operation was. And that bummed me out. And that's an ad hominem attack.
Right. Blowhorn was, and blowjob and everything. It was undermining her character to
right,
so that no one would listen to her.
Yeah, and that was too bad, I think, because selling her short.
And then she opened her mouth and removed all doubt. Sorry.
She had other issues, but it's just too bad that it has to even. It just seems childish to me. I think that's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
It just seems petty.
I have a far more sort of serious example that happened to us. And so my son had a car accident, and before his court case even came up, the newspaper printed on the front page of the local newspaper that it was hoons that caused the accident. Hoons I don't know if you use that term in America, but hoons just means like racing your cars, like car racing and street racing and drifting and stuff like that.
It's a pejorative term.
Sorry?
A pejorative term or a negative description.
Absolutely. And it insinuated that he was guilty of hooning. When in actual fact it was just it was negligent driving. It was quite simply his phone. He went to turn a corner and his phone flew off the dash and was heading out the window, and he went to reach and grab it while he was turning the corner, and he lost control of the car. So it was quite simply an accident.
Yeah.
But the newspaper published an ad hominem hit piece saying that he was 18 and he was a hoon.
Yeah.
And so he hadn't even been
Mm-hmm.
put before a judge yet. And so that was prejudicial to a potential jury,
Yep.
a trial, and whatever. So it was actually prejudicial in the damaging
Yep.
sense. It was prejudicial that we couldn't get a solicitor to represent him in court because nobody was going to go near him
Yep.
after that was published. So it prevented us from getting
Mm.
a lawyer to represent him.
And I would say you're right. That is totally more serious. But in a way, I got to make another point about that blowjob Betty thing. To me, if you let things like that go and you think that's funny when you sexualize a woman for being assertive and a loudmouth like that, it actually hurts all women, and it's a deeper thing. So to me, I didn't take it there, but I want to because that's the point of this. It's like it may seem like a silly attack, or for your case, it seemed very serious. And it may be a joke to some people to call her blowjob Betty, but really, when you think about it, it's damaging to like sexualize someone really like that. I think it just hurts all
Right.
women,
Which
sets
is
us back.
which is why I preferred the term blowhorn
Hmm.
because I didn't like the sexualized term either. So
I don't either. It's not okay. It's not funny to me. It's like, all
yeah,
right,
and so you
childish. But
you can go. We're having this big argument. Just to add some more examples, we're having this big argument, and it's like, well, you're an alcoholic, which has nothing to do with the argument.
and you're ugly, and you stink.
Right.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with your argument. It's just
Yep.
attacking the character. Now, what's happening in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial is exactly that. They are attacking his character. They're saying because he drinks and takes drugs that he is necessarily
And he lied.
sorry.
And if he lied once, they're saying
Well,
he's a liar. He's abusive, right?
they haven't. They're not trying to say he's a liar. They're just trying to say because you're a drunk, because you're a drug addict, you must that necessarily therefore be a abuser, and that isn't the case. I know a lot
Mm.
of drunks and drug addicts
Hmm.
who don't abuse. They abuse the drugs and the alcohol, but then they sit at home
Right.
and they don't go near anybody. Or they just
Yeah.
wipe
I guess
themselves
the one
out
day,
and they pass out like there's
the
nothing.
one day I watched, he had lied on some form about not doing drugs, so it had to do with drugs, I guess. So you're right.
Right. Well, they didn't actually prove that. They said he lied, but he didn't actually lie on that form.
That's the point.
Exactly. That is the
They're
point.
attacking his character.
And they don't actually have
Yeah.
any proof that he lied. They tried to like. There's a lot of things going on there, so I'm not even going to get into it. But it was a very good example.
Yeah, framing it.
Framing
Yeah.
it. Yep. Exactly. So, but the
Yeah.
argument,
Okay.
the actual argument is, did Amber Heard lie when she wrote the op-ed?
And it's defamation. That's the argument. We don't. All these other things kind of aren't relevant, right?
Attacking his character isn't relevant. One of the things that if
That's what I'm
anybody,
saying.
yep, anybody who knows Johnny Depp has watched his interviews, has followed any of his work, and his what was the word I was looking for the other day, Ali? his
Oh.
when he does a preliminary sort of interview for a movie, I forget what that's called.
Oh, his director's cut. Yeah, but that's the thing is, I'm not supposed to bring that stuff in. I'm only supposed to judge on the argument made. So that's why none of that stuff should matter, right?
So what I was saying was, anyone who knows his character understands where the attacking his character is not dealing with the actual argument being made. That
Sure.
and so there's more people supporting, because they know his character. They know that these are just character attacks.
Right.
There's a lot of people who don't know that. So, and so it makes the
Right.
other
And so,
argument
but
stronger.
I still think, yeah, yep. I still think if the jury is aware of ad hominem attacks, they'd be able to recognize it, whether they knew things about him his character or not, you know?
Right. It would. I mean, a lot of these things would make you
It'd make them more savvy.
a savvy juror for sure. And I guess that's, probably
Definitely.
that would be an awesome outcome from our videos if someone becomes super savvy juror, wouldn't it?
Yeah, totally.
So my cousin just got called up for jury duty. She just got all the forms and
Hmm.
stuff to do jury duty. She's done it once before, and
Hmm.
she's always the she's pretty savvy, not with the actual fallacies and stuff. I don't know that she knows them by their terms, but I think she just has an instinct to
Hmm.
recognize these things. And she was telling me,
Yep.
that she doesn't really want to do the jury duty again because she doesn't like to be that person that's the I'm just not going to be a sheep and go with the group think.
Yeah.
So because she puts a lot
Yeah.
of thought into it, so
And it's hard to not. Yeah, because
mm,
you don't want to be necessarily the one that makes it a hung jury. It's such a hard position to be in. I know that feeling too. It's
right,
I've been on jury duty and it was a really horrible case and it got it was a mistrial before we had to decide, and I was grateful because it was about somebody abusing somebody else's child and it was awful.
yeah, awful, awful stuff. So yes,
Mhm.
hopefully that this does actually, help someone become, a savvy juror if they happen to get called up. So
Right.
we'll move on
And
to
be able to argue to the others why they find the error in this argument, right? It could be helpful.
right, absolutely, and being able to do that argument without actually descending into a battle, into an all-out, emotional
Yes.
blowdown. It's going to be key, especially in a
That's
jury.
something you and I have discussed a bunch. That's why we wanted to do this, is because we don't want it to get ugly. There's ways to just find the error in the argument without attacking someone's character, right?
Right, because there's two ways you can go about an argument. You can end it by agreeing to disagree. That's fine. Or if you really want to put your point
Yep.
across and have your point heard, then you need to argue your point sensibly that isn't going to put the other person offside
Right.
and not use ad hominem attacks against them and all these other fallacies to bring their
Hmm.
argument down, but to argue your point better so that it's getting across that,
Correct.
and they
Yeah.
don't have to agree with it. And the point that you're having the argument is you still don't have to agree. You have just heard what the other
Right.
person has to say.
Yes.
Okay,
You
well,
see the strengths and weaknesses of each other's argument. And I think you and I have talked about being able to switch sides and seeing it from the other side.
right, and it's a very difficult thing to do, and it's a task we will set our audience to at some stage, getting you to switch sides. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that one. So we'll move on to the
Yeah,
next.
Platty.
Yeah, Platy. Okay, so you'll notice along the ways we're using a lot of Latin terms, and that is because these all come from philosophy, eras of philosophy, and so law and Latin terms play a lot into law and a lot of philosophy. So tucoque is also another Latin term, along with ad hominem. Tucoque,
Hmm.
avoiding having to engage with criticism by turning it back on the accuser or answering criticism with criticism. So,
Hmm.
do you want to throw an example of that one at us? It's okay if you don't have one.
I'll, I'll let you go.
Answering criticism with criticism. Let me think about that. So,
Is that the whataboutism?
that's the whataboutism, exactly. Pretty sure it is whataboutism.
Okay.
So,
Oh, Barry Morphew had one.
okay, cool. Go for it.
He said he voted, well, so he's still going to be held accountable for his voter fraud, where he voted for Suzanne even though she was missing. Barry Morphew, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with the case, I know you are, Aussie, but others. He's accused of killing his wife Suzanne in Salida, Colorado, on Mother's Day 2020, and he actually the case was just dismissed um, with prejudice, so it could be taken on again without fear of double jeopardy. Anyway, that's a big long case discussion we could go into. We will be going into more too as well. But the thing that isn't dropped is his voting for his missing wife after she was missing for Trump. And he said that the reason he did this was because A, he knew Suzanne was going to vote for Trump, so he just voted for her. And B, the other side's doing it. So.
Right. And the other side's doing it is he's being criticised for doing something wrong, and then he's replying by saying, well, everyone else does it, which is criticism, answering criticism with criticism. Another thing, just to bring it back to a simple thing, we're arguing about, let's say we're arguing about the Johnny Depp trial, and I say, well, she's got cheek implants, and then you're like, well, you've got boob implants. So
okay, yeah, I guess. So I guess neither one is a good argument there, though.
Right. Well, in the has she got bruised, swollen cheeks sort of argument,
right?
You would say, yeah, but she's got cheek implants, and so that addresses the.
As if that's negative. Okay.
Well, no, it could be taken negatively, but maybe you're just saying, but she's got cheek implants, which might make her cheeks seem more swollen because she's got implants.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you're like, well, you've got.
I'm not following the trial, so I don't really know.
And your criticism is, well, you've got boob implants. It certainly doesn't negate the argument.
I see.
It's just a criticism, and maybe it was never meant to be a criticism, the first comment. So.
I see.
Also, just to put it out there with the audience, as I started out saying, neither Ali nor I are experts at these things. So if we have something wrong or we've got a fallacy mixed up, please do speak up and say, well, hang on, that's not quite that fallacy. That might be this fallacy or whatever. So please do correct us if
you have examples.
Hit us with examples as well if you're still following along.
Or questions.
Right. So we'll move on to the next one. Personal incredulity. Saying that because one finds something difficult to understand, that it's therefore not true. We could use fallacies for that. I don't get fallacies, therefore that isn't true.
Yes. Yeah. Or global warming.
Yep, there is a science to that, and if you don't get the science, then you can claim that it's not true. So, I mean, we've got one here in Australia, which I laugh at all the time, is that we don't have the facilities to recharge our cars here, and they're just always going to go flat. The batteries are always going to go flat, and so we're never going to have, we just don't have those facilities. So putting aside the fact that we can install those facilities, let's just take it on today's standard. We don't have those facilities. I'm sure America does, but we don't. Then what about the cars that recharge themselves? There's a lot of those. They're called hybrid, I think they're called hybrids. They are a tad more expensive right now, but they recharge themselves. So whilst your wheels are turning, it's putting power back into your battery system, and there is no point where you actually have to recharge it. So, and my landlord had just bought one of those cars, so I know he doesn't have to plug it in when he's parked up at night. The speed factor is another fallacy. Oh, you can't drive as fast. Well, all of our roads have a speed limit. You can't drive fast anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a valid argument, but to say that these vehicles aren't capable because, it's incredulous to you that they could be capable doesn't necessarily make it true.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah. That's a good one. That's one I don't pick up quickly and I hope to get better at. That's good.
Yeah. Oh my God, I just can't believe it. So therefore it can't be true. Can't believe
Right.
Johnny Depp would bash Amber Heard, so therefore it can't be true. Or I don't believe that Amber Heard could bash Johnny, and therefore it can't be true. So, just to.
Or you've never heard of certain technology or certain thing in history, therefore it's not true.
Correct. All right, moving
Okay.
on.
Yep.
Special pleading. Moving the goalposts to create exceptions when a claim is shown to be false. Well, there's a lot of that happening in the Depp versus Heard trial. There's a lot of moving the goalposts. Do you have any examples?
Go for it.
Okay.
Sounds like you do.
Well, geez, like we're in week 2, day 10 of the trial, and I think there's been several of them every day, and so several witnesses have claimed that they saw, Amber Heard the day that she was supposedly abused, after the abuse was supposedly happened, and the next day, and to negate, to move the goalposts, they're like, do you know what brand of makeup Amber Heard uses? Do you know what brand of cover-up she uses? Do you know what colour her lipstick is? Do you know what brand of mascara she uses? That has nothing to do with the fact that the person who was talking to her did not notice anything different about her face.
Mm.
Now, when you say I didn't notice anything different, let's say you see her every day, like the butler and the dude at the building, the doorman at the building. You see her every day, so you see her without makeup. When you do see her with makeup, that's different, right? That is something different. So if you're saying I didn't see anything different, you're saying I normally see her at home without makeup, and so there was nothing different. So to move the goalpost and go, do you know what makeup she wears? Well, who cares what brand of makeup she wears? What has the brand got to do with anything? You could just simply ask, was she wearing makeup or not? And that would be a yes or no answer, or I didn't notice answer. However, they're moving the goalpost by saying, what brand was she wearing? Was it this brand? Was it that brand? And guys don't know what brands. How many guys do you know actually know any brands of makeup, really? I mean, they were asking about specific brands. So that was moving the goalposts because she was seen without any marks on her face. So that was that was the best example I can sort of draw off the top of my head. There was hundreds of them in this court case so far, but that's the best one. Do you have any? It's okay if you don't. We can move on.
Like a psychic, was kind of a generic one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Just saying, well, they're not always right. Well, no one's always right. I mean, you can't, just because they didn't get this one right, yeah, but no one's always right. You know what I mean?
Boy, I think psychics is a very good one because they actually move the goalposts while they're doing a reading to trick you into thinking they're doing a reading. So,
totally.
So they might say,
Yes.
do you have a family member who has just passed away? And you go, no. So they'll move the goalposts and they'll be like, well, a close older friend then?
Right.
So, and then, everyone's either got a...
Right. I meant someone very close to you.
Yeah. So that's moving the goalposts as well. So, all right. So let's move on to the next one, yes?
Yep. And I think if they're not right, then them saying, well, no one's always right. And it's like, or them saying psychics aren't always right. And it's like, well, yeah, no one's always right. You're moving the goalpost, you know?
Right.
Can't,
In
okay.
the no one's always right bit is moving the goalpost as well. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. A loaded question. Asking a question that has an assumption built into it so that it can't be answered without appearing guilty. Well, there's a lot of those in the JD trial as well. But I can't think of one off the top of my head. But have you got an example of one of these, Ali?
Um, asking a question. I don't off the top of my head.
Hi, Ambery, and it's okay if you're tardy. We're just running through the um, the cards that we're going to use in our bingo game so that people are familiar with them. So the whole point here is that we can go back and replay this so that we know when the game is played what the description is that matches the title of the fallacy. So you can hit the replay when you're ready. A loaded question. So this one always confuses me. So maybe we need to hit the Google and have a look at maybe a good example of that. So give me one sec.
Well, I can use the one off the card if you want.
Yeah, do that. A loaded question. What does the card say?
It says, for their like generic example, it says, because I'm not very familiar with recognizing this one either. So this is a good one. Grace and Helen were both romantically interested in Brad. One day, with Brad sitting within earshot, Grace asked in an inquisitive tone whether Helen was having any problems with a fungal infection. That's pretty funny. It's pretty mean.
So if she answers yes, then she's guilty of having an
Either
affair.
way,
Yeah.
she's admitting that maybe she did have a fungal infection or she doesn't now, or and so then Brad has to hear that, and that's
Yeah.
awkward.
So
Yeah.
I've got another example. So,
Okay.
Ali, have you stopped mistreating your cat? And it's a loaded question because it presupposes that you have been mistreating your
I
cat.
would never.
Exactly. But that's another example of a loaded question. So,
Oh, like, are you still addicted to opiates? Or are you still seeing your therapist or saying something like that? Yikes. Ouch.
yikes. Exactly. So that's a loaded question.
I see. Okay.
Burden of proof. Saying that the burden of proof lies not within the person making the claim, but with someone else to disprove.
Oh, you get this a lot.
Well, I did a video on this to do with
And yeah.
a certain channel having a certain perspective about the West Memphis 3 case, and that there was the burden of proof is on
Oh.
the burden of proof is on that channel to prove their assumptions that they're making about the West Memphis 3 case. And I basically...
I thought you were going to say Nomadic Trek was another one you did.
Well, true, that was another one that where burden of proof. I also did one as for Ali and Cam with regard to everyone saying that they somehow had something to do with billboard money going missing. So there was a number of burden of proof.
You've done a lot of these.
I have. I find burden of proof is the same as saying the saying on the internet, where's your receipts? The burden of proof is on the person making the claim. The burden of proof is not on the person who says, hey, I don't believe you. They're not believing you because you didn't come with receipts. Or you came with
this goes back.
Go on. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead. Finish your thought.
I forgot what my thought was.
The receipts, I'm sorry, it just made me think of, I told you I got a little triggered by a channel recently that was saying they on their thumbnail, proof and receipts, Rosemary Bly is alive and well. And then they didn't have proof and receipts. And in the chat, I was like, just describe to me what you think proof and receipts are. And they were saying, well, it sounds like her, looks like her, could be her. I mean, look at her. It's probably her. We think she could be alive. Okay. And then they were like, prove it isn't her. And I was like, wait, you're making the claim. You said you got the receipts. You prove it, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
they were like, well, we believe it is. And I'm
Hi,
like, that's still not
Doohickey.
proof and receipts.
Um, can you see Doohickey's question? For some reason, my thingo is not wrapping. Hang on, maybe I can change that a little bit. Let's move it around a little. It's going to be,
No.
it's going to look a little messy, but I can't see the whole question. I didn't know that was going to happen. Let's move it down here.
She wants to ask something relating to a current situation. So we're almost done running through these, and then I imagine y'all can
Absolutely.
ask a question
Sorry.
about a current situation.
I obviously have to get wrapping happening here so that goes onto 2 lines and doesn't cut off like that on the screen.
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about now.
Yeah, Doohickey, we'll have a conversation when we're done here, for sure. And I was going to, when I cut you off, bring up the exact same example, Ali. So that was a very good example because we both thought it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're the one making the claim, then you need to come up with the receipts. You can't tell someone else to disprove your claim because it's you
Right.
making the claim. Hey, Kaz,
It was
thanks
the
for
same
joining
with
us.
Nomadic Track.
Yes, it was the
They
same.
were saying, well, prove it's not him. And
I
it
did.
just,
I
you made a great video.
not
or
only
two.
did I prove it's not him, but I also proved that Burning Man Festival actually did take place, and that some of those photos.
And I did that too. Remember? That's how we kind of met. Because we
Right.
both found that.
Right. Exactly.
We both found his photo highlighted in that article, right?
Right. We not only found his photo highlighted in that article, but we found a photo of him.
Yeah. You
So-
did that. I did not. I did find, though, that it did happen. That did happen. And he was there, seemingly.
Seemingly. All right. So, burden of proof lies on the person making the claim, not the person watching the claims and saying, "How do you know this?" So, I'm
Right.
good. I'm good. Thanks, Kaz. How are you today? And thank you also to Doohickey for joining us. And I hope you get something
guys.
out of at least bearing with us till the end, so we can get sidetracked and answer your question. And we'll move on to the next fallacy, which is ambiguity, which is using double
And
meanings.
number 12?
Pardon?
Is this number 12 too? Is this our last one? I think so, right?
It's in order of your cards, so I think it is.
Oh,
I'm not seeing numbers at my end, so I can look at the folder. But
I
you
just
are
been
looking
counting.
at ambiguity in the folder. Let me just, because this is in the order of the folder. Hang on.
Yes, it is 12.
Okay, cool. So we will stop after this one, so we don't go on for too long. We'll do the last 12 in another show. Ambiguity.
Yeah.
Using double meanings or ambiguities of language to mislead or misrepresent the truth. Now, I was accused of this on Twitter the other day, but do you have an example of this at all that
Ooh.
you can think of, Ali?
No, you go. You have one. Come on.
Well, I was accused of it, but I don't believe that I was doing it. So I wasn't using ambiguity to mislead or misrepresent. I basically said, this is to do, with the war.
Was the other person, though?
Well, I wasn't talking to anyone. It was just a post on my own
Oh.
Twitter. I basically posted.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else then. Okay, go ahead.
I just posted a comment saying, if you bleed red, I'm on your side, unless, of course, you are investing in the weapons industry. And then I'm not on your side because, you'll bleed red, but I'm not on your side then. So, there was nothing ambiguous about that. I was saying I'm for all humans except the ones who make the weapons that kill people. That was
Right.
really the only point that I was making. There was no ambiguity,
Uh-huh.
do you think there was any ambiguity? Just before I say there was none, might be just bias, because it was my comment.
No, I thought you were going to bring up another one that I do think they were being ambiguous and you were trying to clarify,
Uh,
right? Do you remember that one?
I think that's the
It was a
continuation.
picture.
That's the continuation of this one. Oh yeah, the picture that, well, it is. This is a continuation of it. So the reason I posted this was as a completely separate post, that where I was sort of, I got what do you call it? I got
I
snowballed.
can explain it objective if you want.
Yeah, I got the group think, like, everyone come down on me, the bandwagon effect, and so I posted a separate comment on my own wall, which was kind of saying, if you bleed red, I'm on your side, and
Here's
but
what you told me though.
it
This
was
is
all
exactly
triggered.
what you're talking about.
Right, it was all triggered by what Ali's gonna describe. Go for it. I'll let you explain what I told you.
It was an ambiguous, from my understanding, when you described it to me, it was, and I don't know all the details, but from what you described to me, it was a picture of some war act and it looked terrible. But it was pretty ambiguous. You didn't know who was who and what was what and when this was and where this was and who was fighting what and you know what I mean? It to me that's a very ambiguous. The way you described it was an ambiguous photo, and you asked some clarifying questions. And to me, that they were having that ambiguous misrepresentation of who was in the right and wrong, right?
Right, right, because it was just a photo of some people lying on the ground, and a lot of
Right,
assumptions were being made about who the people on the ground were.
right.
My question was, were they going towards this border or that border? Because if they were going towards that border,
Yeah,
that wouldn't make them who you're saying they are. That would make them the other people who you're saying they're not. So,
right.
um,
And yeah, and so to me, you were trying to almost pull apart this fallacy like, hey, you can't just post this random photo and expect this ambiguous photo to mean something to everyone, the same thing, right?
right, exactly. And we also
So
see a
you
lot
were
of,
pulling it apart.
right, we see a lot of this happening in the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, although there's not a lot of it yet. I am predicting she's on the trial. I think she's on the stand next week. So I'm predicting that this is what's going to happen next week. So you're going to see a, for example, a splash of wine on the wall, which is still wet and still dribbling, even though the supposed perpetrator did it 3 hours beforehand. So rather than ask any questions about why is this spillage still wet and trickling down the wall, you're going to be
Mm.
you're going to be asked to believe that this happened 3 hours beforehand and should technically be dry and not dripping down the wall anymore and pooling on the skirting board of the wall. So sorry, not pooling on the skirting board of the wall. So if it had been there for 3 hours, you would see some pooling at the bottom. But they're not going to ask you those questions. You're just going to be looking at this photo and go, here's proof that the perpetrator splashed wine on the wall. But the timestamp and the lack of pooling on the skirting board tells you differently. If you're looking closely, it tells you, no, this did not happen 3 hours beforehand. This happened just as this photo was taken. So there's
Mm.
three. There's always two meanings to every person's perspective. Well, I'm not sure that there's always two meanings to every individual's perspective, but there's a meaning that they mean and the one that the person receiving it is taking it as. So I think that might be what you
Yeah,
are getting at there, Kaz. So,
yeah,
um,
maybe. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So in the reply, in the new post that I made was like, look, I'm not on anybody's side. If you bleed red, if you're a person laying on the ground, shot as this photo was, I'm on your side. Okay, so whoever it was
Right.
laying on the ground in that photo, that's whose side I was on. So I posted a
Right.
completely different comment altogether on my
You just
own
don't want
Twitter.
people to die.
Right, exactly. On my own Twitter,
Right.
I wrote a completely different comment, which was completely aside of, what everyone was getting carried away with in their little bandwagon effect fallacy going on there. And that comment was like, well, now you're being really ambiguous. And I'm like, how am I being ambiguous? If you bleed red, I'm on your side. How is that ambiguous now? It was kind of like
That's like the humanist in you.
Correct. Very much.
Yeah.
So, perception is everything. That's right, Cass. Thank you. Alright, so moving on. That's what ambiguity is. Ambiguity is when you are shown something, like the example I gave in the Johnny Depp trial, which will be coming out next week. You're going to be shown a photo, and you're going to be asked to believe that the perpetrator did this. And it is ambiguous because that's not what the photo actually shows. The photo actually shows that whoever took the photo actually did this. Okay, and so there's an ambiguity, misleading ambiguity. There's going to be a lot of those. So moving forward, ready for the next one?
I think that was 12. We're done for
We're done.
today's, correct?
Yep. How long have we been live for? I don't see it. I'm supposed to have a time on my screen for how long we've been live for, but I took that off the screen. Let's switch back now. Hopefully everyone's comments stay on the screen. Let's switch back to a better screen where you can actually see me.
77 minutes.
Well, there you go. Okay, so there we go, guys. I would love to show you Ali, but we had a technical issue with our audio and ended up with it. No, they can't, darling. I'm sorry. I still haven't got you on the screen. But my chat's working a bit better here. So that's a good thing. I can actually see the comments on the chat now. Well, actually, I can't see them. I can't actually read them. Can you read the chats on this screen? The chat comments on this screen? Nice. So the point of today was simply going through the cards and understanding what the description is that I'm going to read out in the bingo game and what the fallacy is that it matches. And so we wanted to have a stream that a recorded video that you could come back to and run through and have a look at them again, just to make sure that you're familiar with them before we set up the bingo game, so that we're not just the first time Ali and I actually chucked this up and went, okay, let's play the game and see how we go. And then we're just sitting there going, first question, we were like, yeah, we're going to have to get familiar with these, and we're going to have to get the audience. If we're not familiar with them, we're going to have to get the audience familiar with them. So that was the point of doing this. So we're doing... Sorry. You did a great job of that. Go for it. Go back to what you said at the start. Right, being coherent without... Oh, sorry. I'm going to have to go through that again. Just give me 1 second, I'll add her audio. Sorry guys, I switched to a screen that I didn't have Ali on. Just say something, Ali, so I can make sure you are there.
Hello, everybody.
All right, sorry.
This would be my round 3 of trying to describe this. I want Aussie to do it now.
Sorry, guys. They just see me sitting here shaking my head, nodding yes and agreeing with you, and didn't hear your voice. So, that was my mess up. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
At least I know how to fix these
We're working
things
out
now.
some kinks still.
Yeah, quite a few kinks. So the point of doing this really is, and the fallacies in particular, is because, and other brain games basically, is because together we want to learn how to spot manipulation, dodgy logic, propaganda, and persuasion techniques from advertisers, politicians, media, and even our own brains, and of course on YouTube. And so they tell us, like, you know, most people never study good thinking skills or critical thinking skills. We certainly don't learn this at school. So people who take, you know, this quest of learning logic, breaking out of the mold, and this takes courage. And it also takes humility, but most of all, it takes self-discipline to recognize it in ourselves first. But
And practice.
And practice, exactly. And so recognizing it, not falling into the pattern ourselves, or learning where we are in those patterns already and breaking those patterns is very important.
Right.
And I can't read the comments.
And it's going to strengthen...
Still.
I can. It's really just going to strengthen your ability to think through problem solving in your daily life, and in little things to big things, and you just feel more confident and self-assured as a citizen in today, because things are only going to get more complex as different media and mediums of communication arise. And so being able to, like, get down to these core issues that people rely on to make their arguments, you'll be able to see through them quicker and quicker the more you flex this muscle and practice. And these games are supposed to make it fun to kind of do it, and we'll hopefully be able to pull out some examples we're all familiar with or we've seen on YouTube or in current events. And so we're not experts. We don't claim to be. We just want to get better at this sort of stuff, and we want to be a part of a solution in this community, and really in just being an adult today and critically thinking and working on that as a muscle.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on the comments, it just says sending love and support from the Philippines.
Well, hello from the Philippines. Wow.
Yeah. And then Kaz says, cool, I need all of that and more. Lol. Well, we all do.
We
really
all do. That's why we're doing it.
Comfortable. Yeah. We all just get too comfortable, and it's too easy to make those, you know, illusion of an argument rather than an actual argument. And it's lazy, really.
Right.
And it, you know, you can get taken advantage of pretty easily if you're not working on this stuff.
Absolutely. And is there any other comments there? Maybe we should ask Doohickey what their question was now.
No.
So,
sure.
The floor is yours, Doohickey. Ask away. We have another couple of minutes left, so. So, when it comes to the game, I'm going to give you guys a link. I'll post a link in the chat, and or I'll get one of our mods to post a link in the chat, and you will follow that link, and you will get a bingo card issued to you, and then with your bingo card, it will appear on our gameplay screen. I might just switch over to the gameplay screen just so you can have a look at that. Not that we will play the game, but just so that you can get familiar with it. But I'll just double check that
Yes,
Ali's microphone
Kaz is right. Become complacent, she just said. And yes, that's exactly right.
Okay, so I've got Ali's audio here, so we're good. So so this is the gameplay screen, and you can see up in the very top left. Let me see which way my finger's gonna be. Okay, up there. You can see mine and Ali's bingo cards up there. It doesn't say whose they are. It's just a number at the top. So we don't see your email address. We don't know who you are. We don't know which card is yours. So and it's
anonymized that way. Yeah,
it's anonymized, correct. So we don't see that at all. Down in the underneath the chat here, this is the question that I'll ask you.
Cool.
And you will need to match that question or that description with the my camera's back to front, with the card that it matches. So you want the title of the card to match your bingo card. Once you work out what that means and you've got the title sorted out, then you want to go onto your bingo card and jot it down on your bingo card that you have that that was called out, and you have it. So that's how.
So cool. And Aussie designed this, isn't it cool? I love it.
And I'm sorry I don't have Ali on the screen right now. Still working on that stuff. So
that's awesome.
And of course in the center of the screen, hang on, let me get my hand in the right spot. Here in the center of the screen, that will just flip through the entire deck. All of the fallacies that can possibly turn up on your bingo card, are going to be scrolled through here in the center box, so that if you can't guess what's being said, down here, you've got that opportunity to see, it will flip on the screen eventually, but you won't be as fast as the ones who have guessed already because they're familiar with them. And so that is the point of going through this video with you today, so that you can be as familiar as we are with them. You can think a little bit quicker during the game, and to give you the heads up on how to play the game. So I have some so Doohickeys question is, thank you Ozzy, this week a creator said I had sent him nudes. Untrue, of course, but he let it sit for 72 hours. Now I'm apparently part of an international crime ring. I feel the burden is on me to disprove him. No way, Doohickey. The burden is on him. But if he actually puts anybody's nudes in, claims they're yours, anybody's nudes on YouTube, then he will be not only breaking the law in every state of America, but he will also be getting himself booted off YouTube, because you just don't do that. So
yes,
there is no burden of proof on you.
But for now, he's alluded to it, it sounds like.
Right. I would actually ask...
Which is still damaging.
I would actually do a report on that video myself, personally. I would do a report on that video, and I would ask YouTube... You'd get the option that this post is about me personally. I would do it that way, because they will listen to you if it's about you personally, and it's got your email address, your doohickey, he said that, or some way to prove that it's you that he's talking about. But they generally, when it's about you personally, they'll generally send you an email back and say, tell us more, and you can get into it with a member of YouTube. So that's what I would do, and the burden of proof is certainly not on you to disprove him. He's making the allegation, and if he wants to go ahead and prove his allegation, he is going to have to break some laws. Not sure what the exact laws are, but I'm pretty sure every state has a law against people taking your private body parts and putting them on the internet. Pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's claiming they're your body parts, but he puts someone else's body parts on the internet, yeah, still no, not a, it's still
Mm-hmm.
illegal to do that. So, now just to sympathise with you, Doohickey, I've got somebody right now saying that I am somehow part of some international crime ring that supports killing elephants. Elephants. Hang on, where am I? Elephants. See my background picture? Elephants. Let me see if I can get that into the picture a little bit more. Elephants. And it's simply not true. I love elephants. In fact, I painted an elephant, which you can see right behind me. It's to do with if you guys remember, I did the ooh, I've been hacked. Nah, just kidding. And I did a breakdown of a couple of channels who were trying to get everybody to go to this malicious website, and I proved in my video that it is a malicious website. They're still trying to get people to go to that malicious website by making up all sorts of stories. Apparently, this malicious website supports killing elephants. Don't ask me what the connection is there, because I didn't dig into the website enough to find out that it is related to killing elephants. Now, I don't believe it is. I think it is malicious. I think they're just trying to steal YouTube audiences and create fake payment systems so that money's not going to a YouTuber, it's going to this fake app into someone else's bank account. If you want to go back through my video where I said, ooh, I've been hacked, it goes into great detail, this scam that's going on, and how the people who are alleging I am somehow involved are actually the ones involved. It's complex. Go back and watch the video if you want to know more about it. But I do sympathise with you, Doohickey, very much so. Because yeah, I'm in the same sort of same things happening to me. So Eddie says, "Oh, Doohickey, I heard he had done that." Well, if he's sharing it privately, Eddie, then that's a concern. It is from Kaz, I agree. California, state of California, Doohickey's in. So, wow. Hell no, we love elephants. We do love elephants.
Maybe we need to start another stream.
Hi, Natasha M. Thanks for joining
if we
us.
want to delve into it.
Haven't seen you for so long, so thanks for coming along. And thank you for the compliment.
Hi, Natasha.
Natasha. It is frustrating, Doohickey, and you know, I sent Ali a message day before yesterday. How do I deal with this in a positive manner? Because I don't want to get negative. I don't want to have to publish, you know, crappy videos about people because they're doing crappy things. So, you know, maybe you guys can help us. Like, we can all come up with a solution together. What is a good way to deal with this? It doesn't create, you know, a cycle of shittiness. Like, I can pull up right now. Kaz will laugh at this, but you know, the Benny Doug cycle. Like, they're just assholes to each other, and whenever they get online, it's this cycle of I'm an asshole, you're an asshole, now you're an asshole. It's just slapping each other back and forth. It doesn't get anywhere. So how do we deal with this without you know, back and forth slapathon? I blocked his butt 3 months ago when he asked for needs to keep my wrench. Oh my God, asking for needs to keep your wrench. That's blackmail, isn't it? What is that, Ali? I'm sure there's a law against that as well. I'm not sure. Oh my God. I always support you on Twitter, Aussie, under another name. Thank you, Doohickey. And I'm in New South Wales and he's in California. Oh, you're an Aussie. Okay. Well, I don't even know the Australian laws, but I do know that there's something illegal going on here.
Well, it's definitely against YouTube TOS, so that's the platform everyone's on. So
Right. So he's privated the video so you can't do more reporting on it.
I bet you could tweet to Team YouTube or private message them for sure, because this is personally
There's no way for us to
affecting your
tell.
life.
There's no way for us to tell at our end whether he privated it or he actually deleted it. If he got a notice from YouTube because he's been reported, he would have gotten either YouTube took it down, removed it altogether, or he would have got a notice for him to take it down. He would have been given the option: you take it down or we take your channel down, or something along those lines. I have not transgressed any YouTube policies myself, so I'm not entirely sure of the exact, how it happens, but that's my understanding of it. So unless it says it's actually on private. So, and thank you so much, Ali, for making this easier for me to read. This is something I'm going to have to deal with when work out some other way to deal with this. Actually, I think I can pop the chat out, and I just didn't do that. I didn't try to pop the chat out. So
yeah, because I'm just for the viewers, I'm copying and pasting the chat into our messaging so that she can communicate with you guys, which is fine. But yeah, we'll have to. Hopefully, you can pop out the chat so you can see it.
I can go and do that in a minute. It's just we were running behind schedule, and I was just like in a bit of a panic, and then I forgot everything that I was doing.
Sure.
And so, but next time I will pop the chat out.
And we're working out a bunch of kinks.
We certainly are. Thank you, Natasha. Awesome. So glad you're with us today, and you're running the show. When we actually start the bingo games, Natasha, you and I need to have a little conversation about. I know you've been busy with other things, so if you and I can have a catch up on Discord, and maybe just make sure you are available for the bingo games, so that we can get you to share the links to the bingo cards, so everyone can get the bingo cards and join in the game and whatever. But if you've got time to do that, if not, I'm happy for anybody else who wants to put their hand up to be a mod for the games that can do that for us, and keep an eye that the chat doesn't get messy or any bots start trying to mess up our game.
And I'm really sorry to hear that, Doohickey, too. I don't know you personally, but it's wrong. It's
very
morally wrong and against TOS.
And it is against TOS. So keep doing that, dude, and you're going to get yourself booted. And here's the nice thing about karma, Doohickey. If you believe in karma, I certainly do. Sometimes you don't even have to lift a finger. Sometimes karma bites them on the butt, because they're just doing this to a lot of people. It's not just you alone. And eventually it starts adding up, and eventually they get booted, basically, of their own doing. So
he took himself off. I don't think YouTube can allow that. No.
Yes, and yes, Eddie, I did pick up that it was you. And you don't have to tell us, anything else. You can start over. The point of going anonymous is so that people can't do shit like they're doing to Doohickey. We actually do have a case that we are going to probably discuss, because it was interesting in the legal sense, in the fallacy sense, in the biasy sense, it was so many things that came into this court case. And it was a YouTuber who was doing this sort of thing to another YouTuber, and ended up with a restraining order. So it started out as a temporary restraining order, and then they kept doing it and broke the restraining order, and ended up being a permanent restraining order, which is very, very hard to get. So we're going to actually do a show on that situation, and how not to deal with that situation. So that might be one that you would like to join in with, Doohickey. So we'll let you know when that's coming up. So. Doohickey, I'm honestly too lazy. It's okay. You can be lazy, doll. That's fine. So, and if any posts where your phone number has been put out, Doohickey, please do report it to YouTube, because again, that is against terms of service. A lot of these cards are applicable to him. Yes, I imagine they are. Read my picture. Oh, I can't see your picture right now, sweetie. I'm sorry. We just had a public case here on I'm Married at First Sight. Oh, we did? I wasn't watching it. I don't watch that program, Kaz. Can't stand that program. Apparently name change is part of the plot. Apparently. The plot. Yeah, Natasha, if you could just jump into Discord and confirm or deny participation in the game, so I can organise someone else, that would be awesome. It's okay if you don't have time, but I'm sure we can line someone else up for that. So is there anything else? No, Doohickey, I would never dox anyone, and the reason that I do it that way, so no one can dox me. I had actually been doxed. My email, which also has my birth date and other personal details in it, had been put out there by Doug. So I actually, I've been in that situation of being doxed, and that's why I went about things where if you want to contact me, you don't have to send me a coffee. You can go to that same link and just contact me. It's in a little burger menu at the top of it, the same page where you can just contact me without coffee, and I will get hold of you. So that sounds awesome, Natasha. Thank you so much. And I think oh no, Natasha has obviously listened into these conversations, Doohickey, and I think the conspiracy group, she's talking about the same ones that are going after me. They're going after everybody. And here's the funny thing, I can actually show you where Gigi's own channel is actually on that website that she's claiming we're all doing it and she's not part of it. I can actually show you that she's on that same website. It's being done to her too. So, interesting. I love coffee too. And thank you so much for shouting me coffees. To everybody who has shouted me coffees, I'm not shouting you out, because unless you tell me when you buy the coffee what your screen name is, I'm not telling anyone who it was that shouted me coffees. But I do appreciate the coffees, like big time. So,
I did.
Thank you, Ali. You did too. So there you go. Shout out to Ali for that. Because now I know that the screen name and the email aren't going to match up. So, but thank you, Doohickey, and I'm pretty sure Kaz and Natasha have both shouted me coffees as well. So, not entirely sure what their actual email addresses are to have done that, but I'm pretty sure they have. You're welcome, Doohickey. It was my pleasure. So, I think we're about done, and Miss Koala Cat wants her snuggles. Where's my attention? So, I promise next time, guys, I'm going to have Ali on the screen for you. I promise. We're going to do the next 12 cards, and I promise we're going to have Ali on the screen with us so that we can all see Ali as well. And I'm just... we just didn't have enough time to rerun through all our testing today. Ali had some technical issues, which I now have to go and help her troubleshoot. I'm not sure what her tech issues are just yet. We'll get to it. Before we do
I don't even want to.
Before we do the last 12 cards, um, I'm just wondering if I can actually dump you up here on the screen. Let me have a go at getting a screen share.
Me and the koala kitty. Okay. Oh my gosh. Nice to meet you guys too, everybody. This will be fun. Ow. Hmm. Can you guys see me yet?
This one.
You see this half koala, half cat on me right now?
There we go. Now we're both on the screen.
Oh my
Woo!
god, she's.
I worked it out, but I mean, I gotta have some
Oh my
scenes set
gosh.
up for this to actually work. So, um, let me just double check if oh heck, I haven't brought your audio in. Wait a second. Let me bring your audio in. They didn't hear. They didn't hear
I'll
anything
let
you
Tippy
said.
be the star. That's fine. She's star of the show anyway.
There you go. Now you can hear Ali. And Tippy.
She's nuzzling my headphones off anyway.
Meow. 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 Hi, meow. I thought she might get curious.
Oh, they can see me, yeah.
Oh,
No.
look at her, fully licking. Well, not licking, kissing, I meant to say. Fully kissing your back. She's beautiful.
There she is.
So, let me pop
The real star of the show.
the real star of the show. Let me pop. I'm just going to pop the chat out. Now, I'm just going to be quiet for a minute so we don't get echo, echo, echo while I hit the mute button and pop the chat out. So, let me get this up.
Ew. Can make out with my cat.
She's. Now, pop the chat out. Pop out the chat. There we go. Now I can see the chat. Woohoo! And oh, whoops, lost Ali. Sorry. Let's get Ali back.
That's okay. We just needed a cameo.
Yeah, I don't actually know how to get to my pop out thingo now. Ah, that didn't work at all. Oh,
Thank you guys. Yeah, this is Tippy. I acquired her and my other one kind of by accident, but I love them now. You know, they become part of your family.
Yeah, messed it all up at my end. Sorry, guys. That was
that's okay.
kind of got you on there for a couple of minutes so people can see that you actually were there. But
Yeah.
this might be the way we do it. We've got the audio working like this. We've got the camera actually working like this. We've got the Mac cooperating. So for those who don't understand, I'm not familiar with Apple Mac, and so this has been a bit of a mission getting things working on an Apple Mac, and my lack of knowledge on how it all works on a Mac and an Apple Mac. So
she's being modest. She's quick. You know that. Who know her too. You know that.
since we know it works this way, then this is probably the way we'll do it in future through the mega cam slots, and we're always catching up with each other this way as well, so we know when it's broken before we get on a live. So
I just moved into an old house and blew the electricity in half the house with my setup and all that. So anyway, it's been a bunch of little speed bumps here, but we're getting there.
Yeah, speed bumps. One day we're cruising, next day it's like brakes. Wait a minute, it all broke. And I think that
everyone's saying you look beautiful. Aussie, can you read the chat now?
No, I can't read the chat now. Still.
Oh.
I tried to pop it out. Hang on.
I copy and paste for
Hang
you.
on. I might be able to switch to it now because I took you off the screen. It might let me pop the chat out now.
Okay.
Okay. What a beautiful cat. She is a beautiful cat, right?
Hard for me to
look at that.
Type and hold this cat. That's for sure.
Thank you, Natasha. I'm still not comfortable. Still not comfortable with the smiling and the talking. I still feel like I've got a bit of a mouthful, and that my smile is like too big for my face.
No.
Because I had so long with nothing there at all. So I think it was nearly 6 months with nothing there at all, and I sort of forgot what I look like with teeth. So I'm looking fancy, am I? Too fancy for Aussie? Oh, the flood recovery is not really happening at all, Doohickey. We've got some, we have some things going on that are preventing recovery, so, but we do have now a supermarket that we can go shop at, so that's sort of a start. A few things coming back online that have been out. We've got, I couldn't get my car registered anyway because all the mechanic shops all went under, so they're all out. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, we still don't have services kind of back to the town as far as being able to operate everything normally. But we're getting by. Ballina's back in action, so we're back over that sort of direction for everything, which is a lot further away from me. So, fancy. You like my glitter? You like my glittery stuff? I feel a lot better too, Natasha. So yeah, thanks for all the compliments. I'm getting embarrassed now.
Aww.
So basically, I think that's it, guys. I think we can let Ali go at least. And what time is it there at the moment, Ali?
What time is it here? Just almost midnight. I'm in Colorado, just for anybody who I've not met yet. I'm in Denver.
Cool. So here's the thing. With Ali being in Denver, we actually have a unique opportunity for her to go to the the Suzanne Morphew, what's the word I'm looking for?
Vigil,
thank you. Don't know why that jumped out of my head, but it did. the Suzanne Morphew Vigil, and perhaps, you know, some of the trials that might be coming up in the Colorado or Denver area that are close to Ali, so she can be a correspondent for us and maybe help us to
Yeah.
see things that are going on. If it's a public trial, maybe you know, reporting from courtrooms and stuff like that. So it'll be very exciting. This is a great collaboration with Ali, and I'm so happy
Yeah.
that we're collaborating. So
Yeah. Me too.
right, just so you all know, this is going to be an ongoing collaboration. It's not just going to be our games. We're going to try and do a lot of stuff together. And
Yeah.
Natasha's in Utah, just so you know that. So
Oh, cool.
she's in the same time zone as you. So that will work good.
Cool. Hi, Natasha.
That will work good, Natasha, if you're going to help mod the game part for us, because then we don't need to make a third sort of take into account a third time zone. We're struggling with just the two that
Yeah.
we've got, aren't we, Ali? So
Yeah, and just some of my background is in media studies is what I did in college, and business and peace and conflict studies, and so I'm super passionate about media literacy and how live streaming is changing the landscape of media and politics and just our world, really socializing online. So
yep,
um, I like technology and stuff too. I love learning, and I'm passionate about more citizen engagement and democracy, and kind of focusing on positive things and change and all that. And so that's kind of how Aussie and I were connected, over that sort of same passion, I think.
absolutely. And Ali hasn't got a channel up just yet, Natasha, but she's working on it. She's working on a logo and some cool
Yeah.
themes and stuff. We're sort of working on that together, which is kind of why it's taken us so long getting where we are, working out what we're doing and how we're going to
Hmm.
share across channels as well. But if you want to link
Yep.
up with her, Natasha, I will put us into a group discussion on Discord straight after this live stream, so we can have a quick meet and greet and iron out, you know,
Yeah.
what we might be doing there. So she is
Sounds great
right.
to me.
She's right up our alley. Absolutely.
Yep.
She is. So for those who are not familiar with Ali, she played through the bias game with us, and she was saying during the bias game she was loving it. More games, let's bring on some more games. And I was like, well, I'm kind of brain
Yep.
dead, so would you like to help me develop some more games? And that's how we came to connect. So she's helping me develop the
Hmm.
game. So having a mod who is up to what's the word, filled in on the links that we need to share with everybody, to keep those circulating on the screen so that anyone who wants to join in the bingo games can, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to stick their hands up for that, Natasha's sticking a hand up, so if anyone else wants to, please do so. This is the time to say so before we run the next one. But at this stage, we'll get by with just Ali, as we just worked out. They're in the same time zone. So the next one will probably work out good, and you can put your hand up in the next stream if you want to help out with that. So
Well, luckily, sucking at something is the first step to being good at something. Is you gotta know where you're at. You gotta start somewhere, you
and
know.
I
And
sucked.
that's what's cool about this,
I
is we
sucked at the
both
bias
aren't
game.
pros. Yeah.
Doohickey, I sucked at it too. Like when we were scoring it, I was nowhere near as good at any of that stuff as I thought I would be. So yeah, I sucked at it too. I mean, that
Hmm.
was the whole point of playing the game, was to realize that things that we think we might be good at, because we all watch true crime, or we all, you know, into this or into that, it was realizing that we're probably not as good as we think we are, and that is the whole idea of the
Yep.
Dunning-Kruger effect. The example given in that show was,
Yep.
the guy, he rubbed lemon all over himself because he thought that it was a magical disappearing act, and it didn't make him disappear. So we convince ourselves of
Wow.
things that literally are not reality. So it's good. That was the
Yep.
point of it. So if you thought you weren't going to suck and then you did suck, yay! That was the point of the game.
it's it's honestly why we're doing this collaboration, right? We realize that this is all stuff you got to practice to be good at it. You can't just be good one day all of a sudden. I don't think. I think that's, that would be kind of hubristic or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just silly. Of course, you're not going to be good at it if you don't define the things and know what you're bad at, you know?
right. Absolutely. And so, yeah, that's how we know Ali. Ali played the dice game with us. She was excited. She wanted more games. She felt that that was a more positive way to get into creating a new environment for us all to understand, presenting facts and not getting carried away with things that are not fact, and uh,
Right. Less divisive, more just understanding the core arguments and illusions of arguments, right?
right, exactly. And so, instead of putting out videos, I am guilty of a bit of it myself, going, this person's bad or wrong or having a bitch about somebody or whatever. We're kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of saying, let's not bitch about it, let's just set the example. Let's say this is how we want to be, this is the future we want to create, this is the way we want to,
Yep.
and by recognizing that, it's our own language, our own biases, that we're using fallacies, that we are not presenting arguments as well as we could be, understanding that, learning from that, that's all part of the entire picture of critical thinking. So you can stand there and you can tell people this is what critical thinking is till you're blue in the face. It's not until we're practicing it.
Right.
When you're practicing it, practicing critical thinking, you understand all of the elements that go into the critical thinking sort of topic. Then you can start
The
using it,
principles.
the
Yeah.
principles, and then you can start using it when you're speaking with other people, and particularly in my
Right.
case, because I want to take it seriously, because now I've got a YouTube channel. It's more than me just talking to Ali or just talking to Natasha or just talking to Doohickey. It's an influence that I'm having out there in the world. So I want to be especially
Yep.
mindful of how I do things. I got an itchy ear. Give me one sec. Ah, my ear's tickling for some reason. um, so yeah, I want to be mindful of what I'm putting out there in the world and how I'm putting it out there in the world. And I certainly don't want to have a negative impact on YouTube or the world. So, and I think most people don't really want to do that. They just don't know how to practice it. And I fall into that
Right.
category. I didn't know how to practice it. I ended up on some of the wrong channels, and I didn't choose my friends wisely, so to speak. So,
I think we've all done it though, and kind of gotten in a default mode or like a complacency instead of just deciding where do we want to be and what future do we want to create together, and we can do that if we just choose to not or choose to create this new world. And more and more people will be attracted to this new world we're creating and less sucked into the negativity. I think, I just think you can't just talk about it, you got to be about it and create it together, and if we all can co-create it, we want ideas, we want each other's feedback, because that's how it's going to make sense for each of us.
yeah. And the chat's agreeing as well. Natasha agrees. She loved the games and it's a good educational break from the true crime YouTube streets. I totally agree, Natasha.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's always a lot of controversy around, particularly one of the channels that Natasha mods for. So it's a good downtime for her, like rather than dealing with that kind of controversy. So, Dahiki says I always learn something about myself from watching you, Aussie. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad you
Awesome.
do, and also educated on other topics. And Kaz has to run. Bye, Kaz. Thanks for joining us, and
Bye, Kaz. Thank you.
and I hope you're feeling better soon, Kaz, and on top of things a little bit sooner than you're expecting. So, okay, and that's it. I think we're going to wrap up now. If I can get Natasha to meet us over in Discord so we can have a quick conversation there, and also anybody here who wants to join the Discord, go to my coffee link. You don't have to send me a coffee. You can go to my contact in the burger menu up the top. You can open that up and you'll find a way to contact me there. And you can send me a message, tell me your screen name, and I will add you to the Discord that way. Okay, so you get a Discord invite. Now, there's not a lot happening on Discord right now. There's a lot of private conversations being had, but because we're still organising between us what we're doing. So, but, if you want to start having, some public discourse or everyone's chatting and a way to contact, other people who are in my chat right now, that's the way to do it. Go over to Discord and reach out to me and I'll give you an invitation to join. So
yeah, we're still, if we haven't defined where we're going, what we're doing in totality, it's very open sourcing, and we want to work alongside other people who care about this sort of stuff. And if you got ideas, that's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to collaborate with us, if you want to organise, we are going to have call-in type things where you can come and join us and give an example of a fallacy or a bias or whatever topic we're on at that time. Where you don't have to share your camera, but you can just call in with a little speaker bubble. But of course, I got to iron out the tech at my end to be able to do that with the OBS studio. So that's a little while away. But if you want to be involved in that stuff, it's best to get on the Discord so that better not join Discord yet. We could all be plotting. Well, we are plotting on Discord, to be honest. That is what we're doing.
Except positive.
Right, in positive
we're
ways.
trying to make the world a better place, more critical thinkers, more positive energy towards a future we want to create rather than the negative things that we a lot of times default to. We all can do it, and we all can get into it and slip backwards a little bit. But if we're working on our own stuff and excited about it, I think that's going to keep us forward facing and looking to that, and not, we won't even have time to care about this other stuff. And then this other stuff will become irrelevant to everybody because we're all working on this other more exciting future. I think, that's the vision I see. I hope,
Right, and just so you know, I know that Discord can get a bit messy. Some people might have been on Discords before that have got messy, but mine's not messy. Mine is very friendly. Yeah. At the moment, there's absolutely no conversation whatsoever going on. So it would be nice to see people sparking up some conversation and throwing out suggestions or whatever. But there's no conversation. You'll be totally alone for the first few days until we get a few more people over there to join up and start talking. But there's no trouble on my Discord. I am screening. It's not just a free for all where I've got an invitation and anyone can join it. We've got trolls and hackers and all sorts of shit going on. It's not like that at all. I'm screening every single person that gets added to my Discord is being screened through my coffee link. So it's safe. Thank you, Natasha. Not a lot of people right now, so the more the merrier. So if you want to be included in...
Thanks, Amber.
Thank you so much, Amber. That would be awesome. So if you have been over and sent me a coffee, you've got the Discord link, the Discord invitation. If you haven't, go to the contact me part of my coffee link page and send me a note that you didn't accept your invite, now it's expired, or anything that you like, you want to be part of the Discord, you need a new invitation, you'd accidentally deleted Discord, you want another invite, whatever. If you have my email, feel free to email me there, because if you've bought me a coffee, I've sent you my email. So there you go. That's how you get involved if you want to get involved, okay?
Yeah. And we just, yeah, I think both of us just care about doing this better. We just see what's been happening and don't want to do that anymore. We want to create a better space for all of us and
Yep.
a better future for this community, you know?
Right, and in case you don't know, you're all already, right at this point, earning loyalty points. And loyalty points in the Streamlabs world, loyalty points is just like every video you watch, you earn some points. Every chat you join in, you earn some points. Every game you join in, you earn some points. And then when we've got a few points...
We're going to have challenges.
Right, when you've got a few points racked up, we're going to give you ways to use your points. So you can, for example, we might have... I'm trying to think of all the different examples because we've come up with hundreds of ideas. So let's say we have a mock trial, for example, and everybody wants to put bets down and say, I think this is going to happen, or I'll bet 5 of my points that's going to happen, or whatever. So you can use your loyalty points in fun ways where you're interacting with each other. You can earn some more by, we will probably bring in a cloud bot to play with. If you get bored during a live stream, you can spark up a game in with the cloud bot that's related to the topic that we're talking about. You can earn some more points that way, and you can also spend some points that way. So we've got a lot of ideas that we're throwing around at the moment, and you know, we'll introduce one at a time. So
and
it's
potentially getting
sorry
prizes from sponsors that are related. Potentially, we've been talking about all sorts of ideas. So if you have ideas on how we can make this more fun and kind of gamify this learning and growing and a future focus and positive things, I think that's what we want. We want to build this, and we don't know everything. We don't have all the answers. We just both have a passion for it, I think, and that's how we are developing this.
Yeah, and like with the bingo game, I am going to give away a free deck of fallacy cards. It's actually a combined deck, I think. It's got 24 fallacy cards and 24 bias cards in it. So I am going to give away one of those for free for the winner, for the bingo winner. And it's not just to encourage you to play the bingo, it's to encourage you to be involved in the process of learning what these things are and how they contribute to critical thinking. So if you win a pack, then you're going to be on the ball because you have the pack. There's also games that you can play with the pack. The pack actually comes with different games you can play with like your friends and family. So if you have, you know, like let's say you have a highly politically charged family,
or on your own channel,
it's a good way to break the ice and create, you know, less arguing and more getting, you know, points shared and not necessarily agreed to, but shared, and having a healthy relationship, and you're not going, well, you vote for the blah blah party, so I don't like you anymore. Stuff like that. It's a good way to bring those kind of arguments to an end and to still have your opinions and to still differ in opinion without having to break up friendships and family and so on. So all right, that's it.
And it's cool if everybody wants to participate on their own channels. We'd have a syndicate and be able to recommend other channels of positivity, you know, and creation in the same vein, correct?
Right, and thank you so much to, I think it was Amber said she was going to spread the word on channels that she is mod for. I think it was Amber.
I think Doohickey said that.
Scroll, let me go back.
Maybe they both did. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah.
Whoever said they're going to spread the word,
Anyway,
thank
we
you. Spread the
appreciate.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot more sort of, fun involved in creating a positive environment for to be able to still influence and still put, theories, ideas, feelings out there without creating
Mm-hmm.
arguments and triggers and upsetting people. So,
And hate. Yeah. There's enough of that.
not so much. Yes, exactly, Natasha. There's a lot of it going around. Like, it hasn't been quite so bad here in Australia, but some of my American friends think that I share too many, because I sit right in the center. I'm not left and I'm not right. I agree with a bit of both.
Sure.
There's a bit of both that I can
Mm-hmm.
find common ground with. I do have friends who have
Yep.
broken off friendships with me just recently because I'm not totally on in their court. So
Right.
it's a difficult thing to manage, and I'd like to know how to manage it better, and that's why we're doing this, so that we all can learn how to manage it
I
better.
love it. Yeah.
So,
No one's perfect at this stuff. Relationships are hard as adults, especially, and opinions come into it. How to handle those situations better. I think we could all learn.
so it was Doohickey. So thank you, Doohickey. I think I know who Doohickey
Mm.
is now that she said she's in Australia. I think Doohickey's actually appeared on our channel, though I don't want to give up if she's trying to change identities. I don't want to do that to her, but
Yeah, that's okay.
yeah. So yes, Natasha, please do share Doohickey's channel in here. If you have a channel yourself that you would like to share in here, please do it. Although I think links are actually blocked for viewers. This is part of me trying to control those
Yeah,
Russian bots that keep coming along. See, no Russian bots today. Whatever I'm doing,
great.
I'm keeping them out. So there's a lot more tech that goes into this stuff than just getting the audio and the video sorted out. So just so you guys know that. So we don't have any bots
You
today,
did an
which is
awesome
nice.
job.
So some of the stuff I'm doing is actually working. So I did expect the odd Russian bot here
Yay.
and there. But Natasha has access to sharing links. So if you want your channel shared, please say so. She'll go and click on your nickname and grab your channel and she will share it. I'm happy to share everybody around. My battery's about to die. Let me just plug in so we at least get goodbyes in without everything crashing on us.
Thank you so much for having me on your channel, Aussie, and doing this collaboration. I'm excited. Kinks and all, that's how you got to start. It's fine. We
Thank
just
you.
had to do it.
And thank you too for coming on today, even though it was very short notice and you weren't expecting it. And thanks for the collaboration as well. I'm very excited with the stuff that we've been discussing and where we can go with this. It's been awesome collaborating with you.
Same here. All right, I'm going to jump off and see you in Discord then, yes?
Okay, I'll see you over at Discord. I'll just wrap this up.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everyone. Great to meet you all. I'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. So that's it, guys. We can wrap up today. I'm going to probably trim this video down to just, the game thing as a separate video, just the gameplay part, so that people don't have to watch 2 hours of video to get the gist of how to play the game. So you might see parts of this pop up in another video a little bit later, just so you know that. Oh goodness me, my window thing's not working. I lost my chat again. Give me 1 second. Show all windows. Close that one. Oh. Okay guys, I'm going to log off now. I can't see the chat again. But hooray to all of you. Thank you for joining in, and we will see you in the next show. Bye.